Lower Sacramento is what we're talking about today on the Backcast, and I'm with Tim Fox. He's the owner of Mr. Fox Outfitters. He is our guy on the Lower Sac. How you doing today, Tim?
Good, Rick. Thank you. How are you?
Perfect. Everything's going great. Good. And let me know what's going on up there. So last time we talked, and let's kind of get into it in terms of especially things like flows and weather. You guys have had some weather up there the last couple of days. So has that affected things?
The hot weather has affected the bite on the sac. There's a slow period. I've been on the river a bunch, and it's been 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. There's a 3-hour period where this fish seem to be shutting down. Either that or I haven't figured out the super secret fly that they want to eat. But it's good before that, early morning, and then good the rest of the day till dark. But that 3-hour period is really starting to annoy me because I take pride in trying to figure out what they're doing, but they're just slow. It's just slow for that time period.
But looking good the rest of the day, which is good. So that sounds like fun. All right. So what are let's see, temperatures there? Last time we talked, the temps were kind of going up because of the lack of water, or the lack of water coming out of the dam. We're looking for 50s in temperature, but things were kind of creeping up. What are they looking like now?
They're really good through Redding. Yeah. Down lower when I'm fishing for shad and stripers, the water temperature's been 65 to 68. And I'm still getting a few straggler trout in the warmer water, but that's not too healthy for them. But up in Redding, water's really still cold. It's still in the low 50s and healthy, so the fish are doing well up there.
What kind of handling should there be done when there's that temperatures like that?
Yeah, minimal hand. If it gets up 60, then just keep them in the net. Maybe if you want a picture really bad, lean over the side of the boat and put your hand under the belly and just lift it up for a few seconds. Regardless of the temperature, I love taking pictures, especially with clients with the fish. We keep them in the net as long as possible in the water, and then bang, take a picture, throw it back in as quickly as possible. Just I've seen a lot of people mishandle fish, keeping them out of the water too long. And so, that's we're catch and release. That's our future. They got to spawn. They got to create more. So got to take care of them. Okay.
Now, we had also talked about flows. Last time it was about 3,700, 3,800.
Yeah.
And you were wondering, maybe is it going to get up to 4,000 or 5,000? I mean, obviously it's low regardless. Where are we looking at in terms of flows right now? And what does that change?
They just increased the flows to 4,250. And so throughout the course of the day, it'll vary within 100 CFS of that number. Still, we're third week of June. Yeah, we're in summer now, and that's pretty low flows for this time of the year. So maybe they'll get to 5, but it's going to stay low. That's low, and you got to work a little harder for the fish, kind of hit spots that other guides haven't pounded. It's nice because we're in summertime, so a lot of guys are up on the McLeod and the Upper Sac and the Pit and Hat Creek and Fall River. So it spreads the guides out, and that means less pressure on the Sacramento River. So the fish are a little bit more willing to eat the normal patterns as compared to earlier when all the guides were focused and pounding the river over and over again. So, yeah, it's a good time of the year to fish.
Now, in terms of species, what are you targeting right now, and kind of how does the seasons work with that?
Well, there's the trout in Redding all the way down to Red Bluff and below. That's year round. But then there's shad that I love doing. And that's generally May and June. This year, it was either just a poor run or they came in super early because of the warmer water and the mild weather. And they came out and spawned, did their thing, and left. But normally the shad's good, but it's over. There'll be a few stragglers being caught even all the way up into Redding, but generally your best place to shad fish is between Red Bluff and Chico. But then the stripers, there's resident stripers in the river year round, and they move up and downstream chasing bait fish. Not a lot of them, but there's enough to make it worth fishing for. But the main bulk of the the anadromous spawning run comes up through Colusa, like in March and April, and then all the way up to Redding throughout the course of the summer. So they're coming and going all year. But this is the best time for stripers, especially, between Red Bluff and Chico, Ord Bend, that area.
Okay. And then just kind of going back to trout. So we had talked a little bit last time about hatches, and there were some hatches going off during the day, but there are kind of PMDs mostly when there was in the evenings and when it was cloudy. So you're still indicator fishing, and then just kind of occasionally throwing for hatches when it's when the visibility or the sun cloudy in the evenings. Is that kind of what you're still at?
Well, it's mainly caddis now. The caddis are popping really well. My number one fly is a bird's nest, tied by me, available on my website, mrfoxoutfitters.com. And I try to keep even though I'm tying them here in the USA in my home office, I try to keep them priced decently for people. I'll look at some of the leading fly shops and just try to keep my prices right in that ballpark. So you're getting something tied by me for a reasonable price. But that's my number one fly. My Pupa is working really well, little yellow stones. And then I'm still getting fish on micro mayfly type stuff and PMD nymphs as well. So they're still eating the PMDs, even though it's not a heavy hatch anymore.
Okay. Real quick, I know you gave it real fast, but tell people in terms of where to get those flies again, the website.
The website is mrfoxoutfitters.com, all lower cases, no spaces, and Mr. is abbreviated MR. So it's mrfoxoutfitters.com. Perfect.
Okay. Real quick then also, just lastly, I know regulations wise, we've got the from the dam to the Vordivor Bridge is closed from April 1st through July 31st. So opening in August. Any other regulations or different changes based on drought and things like that you know of?
No. A lot of times guides will, like they do in Montana, where they have the hoot owl restrictions, and you got to stop fishing by 12 or 1 in the afternoon. A lot of guides around here will do kind of self-imposed stuff on there if the water gets warm. Last year it got warm for a little bit, but it stayed cold for the most part. This year we'll see what happens, but right now it's in really good shape.
Okay, so for right now, the hoot owl or other kinds of voluntary restrictions would maybe be later, so something to watch for and something we can talk about as time goes by. And then, but for now, looking good. It sounds like what's happening. Okay. Mm-hmm. One more thing you had talked a little bit about. I know a lot of people like to go and sort of when they're planning trips and so on. There are things that are going on up in the area. You talked about sort of where one of your takeouts were. There were some events or things going on there in the evenings.
Yeah. The city of Anderson, down at Anderson River Park, which is where I usually take out in the evening on Wednesday nights. They have a little get together. I don't even know what they call it anymore. It used to be called the Mosquito Serenade, but they probably has negative connotations. People envision getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, so they changed the name. I don't know what it's called now, but it's throughout the summer. Every Wednesday night, people barbecue and there's live music and things like that.
Sounds fun. So you can put a day together where you go fishing with you, and then the takeout down there, and live music and things like that down in the park where your takeout is. Sounds like a fun day.
Yeah. Usually I'll wear my customers out by catching so many fish, but and they don't want to do anything but go to sleep. But yes, it's pretty.
The heartier bunch might be.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, perfect. All right. Thanks a lot, Tim. Great stuff. Great information. Appreciate it. Up there on the Lower Sacramento. Tim Fox is Mr. Fox Outfitters, and obviously he knows what he's doing, what's going on up there on the Lower Sac in terms of all the the flows and the hatches and everything. Oh, actually, you know what? I forgot, Tim, real quick. Can you go ahead and give us your contact information so somebody who wants to get in touch with you can reach out?
Yeah, the main website has all my contact info, mrfoxoutfitters.com. And then you can reach me by email, which is carpenfox@gmail.com, or on my phone, text or call 530-949-0238.
Perfect. Okay, and I'll put some of that contact information in the post here as well, down at the bottom of the post. So you can get a hold of Tim. He is, again, our guy up there on the Lower Sac, and appreciate his information. That's how we get and figure out what's going on up there. And we will continue to check in with him as the summer goes on and as time goes on, so that we know what's happening up there on the Lower Sacramento River. And we'll see everybody here right here next time on the Backcast.